Hello everyone, Morpheus here. The support has been very great for the channel and I appreciate it a lot. I really do. You guys really are showing a lot for the likes, the comments, and the shares, and honestly every day this channel does grow from the analytics and it does show your support. So we do appreciate that a lot here. Now, that also being said, the progress is made through these project, if you will, and it's going very well for what it is. But remember, as a doomer, you are on your own. But let's get into it with chapter 3, okay everyone? Thank you very much. Chapter 3. College. College was a lie. It was all so much a lie. Hello everyone, I am Oliver. And I'm sorry that this journal I've been very late. I have been in therapy, but honestly there was no progress to be made then, so I thought that I will at least touch upon my college experience and what I went through in college and write that down in this book as well. So, as I told you last chapter, it was the end of high school, you know, the end of high school. And in the end of high school, it was just, I realized that it was just not true. You know, it was not true. Everything that they told me would happen in high school did not occur. You know, despite me having my first job at the time, and that was progress buying my car myself, that was eventually vandalized. I realized it was just not true. Now, I remember that time when I graduated high school, you know, that last day and how I felt, how I saw everyone just crying and such and saying that they'll miss each other and everything and how that was the best 4 years of their lives. And I just felt once again out of place and very confused. I remember that I walked down that hallway for the last time before I went to my car and just, I saw people just in tears, you know. And I remember when we went to the graduation ceremony as well, just more and more people crying. And I just didn't feel like I was there. I even have a yearbook I bought too from high school and I've never opened it. Over 10 years later, I've never opened that book at all. There was no one that signed my book at all or anything. And my parents told me to get it because I would regret not having it, but I never opened it. So, college, you know, college. One school did accept me actually. It was a school that was quite far away from my city and required me to drive there, away from home, but I was surprised I got in despite my average to below average grades. Now, summer. What was my summer plan? I remember back then I thought I was just gonna work till August came, then I'll just drive, you know. But literally the week after I graduated high school, I lost my job because they said I'll give off creepy vibes, which I didn't understand what that meant, and just they didn't want me to be there anymore. So the very first job I ever had, that I had for almost 2 years, was the very first job I also lost. So I just stayed home that summer. Just stayed home by myself, and just online. Because I remember that once again, online was the only place that gave me a sense of freedom that the actual school themselves never did. Also, I remember that when I graduated high school, not college, my mistake here. I'll erase that really quick. There we go. When I graduated high school and such, that the ones that I hung out with, they eventually stopped talking to me too as well. And Sarah eventually stopped talking to me. She did. I did remember seeing her post on social media with the bully at one point. They eventually apparently started going out, but he left her, and she occasionally would go on spurts just about how, like, guys were just trash, and I can't believe he did X, Y, and Z. It was very, very off-putting reading it. But she would stop talking to me because she knew that, well, what she did hurt me a lot, and she didn't want to face the guilt of it. But oh man, that summer, sometimes when I'll just go out at night and just drive across town and just by myself and just to do something, you know? What was the point of those last 4 years? I don't remember even a lot of the things I learned in school either. But then came August. August was very, very fast approaching and such, and at the drive over 100 miles, which was around 3 hours. 3 hours to the college to do everything on my own for the very, very first time. It was very, very overwhelming. I was just by myself, and the first thing I did notice was that the girls seemed to have better cars than everyone else. Like, better than the guys did. They'd have newer cars, like BMWs, Mercedes, Audis, and the guys always had older cars, unless their car was tuned up or something, or they were an older person going back to school. Very, very strange. I didn't understand that. But I met with the person who would hail in my dorm, and they asked me questions like my interests and hobbies and such, and what would I, like to study, and I told them. I was assigned a dorm mate, We'll call him Paul. And Paul was actually just like me, Probably shorter, about 5'6", 5'7". He was also ethnic like me as well. He was Asian. And we had similar interests. The thing with Paul was not from America. He actually was from an Asian country, and he said how he took him so long to get here and such. And me and Paul also shared a class together. And that was very, very interesting how I finally had someone to share a class with. But it was just another lie. I thought that college would be a fresh start, that I could finally make something for myself, have that social circle and friends and such, and just have 4 years of just memories that will last forever, that I can look back on. Well, I do look back on them and realize that it was just not true as well. I wasn't bullied at all anymore. That's a first. Seems like everyone just was there just to be there. But I did take note how in the classes that it'd be like you didn't exist. You're just a number. Because classes were so large as well, and that women just, it seems as if they just wanted to just talk to you to get some kind of answer. Also, I did see some people from my school. They were there at college as well. I don't think they noticed me though, or at least tried to avoid me as usual. But college was just very, very, it was easier. it was easier but harder at the exact same time, you know, like if you didn't understand something, you had to find things out on your own. But if you could understand something, you could work ahead very, very simply. And I liked that a lot, but it felt like a coin toss. And I was just so afraid. Like, people say join a club or anything, and I did try that once, you know. I tried joining a club like I did in high school, and the same issue occurred. It was mostly dudes, you know. We had similar interests at first, but the girls found me off-putting, you know. Even the one that acted just like me, her name was, I think it was, oh, we're gonna call her Sam. And Sam, her partner actually didn't go to school. He actually graduated before then, but he found me very, very off-putting. And eventually I just stopped hanging out with them as well because, well, they didn't like being around me. Over the first semester, I just sat there by myself in my room, my dorm mate as well. And even I did try going to a party once, and it was terrible. Like, no one knew me. Everyone that was there was with their people, and I was just by myself. And I did try approaching a girl, and she completely humiliated me in front of everyone. That first semester came very, very quickly, and, well, I passed. I actually passed. And was that winter break, and I went back home. So when I went back home, I saw my parents and told them everything, and just, well, everything was the same. Nothing happened. Nothing occurred. I just sat there for a month back home, and everything just seemed the way it was. Like, I did go back for Thanksgiving break, but even the one winter break I went back for, just nothing was the same. So I went back to school in spring. I thought I'd give another chance, and I did, and I did okay, but went to another party, isolated again, and rejected again. And I noticed that the girls started to just avoid me in general on campus, like I was some disease when they realized who I was. So I decided to go to classes at night instead of during the day, because at night at least there was less people. But everything was the same. And instead of going back home for the summer, I decided to stay on campus and live there for the summer. It was basically empty. I liked that. But I began to realize that I was lied to again. This fresh start was just me alone. As usual. This fresh start was just me by myself. And people didn't like being around me either. And I tried getting an internship and such, and, well, I couldn't get one. I said I was paid. But I kept trying and trying and trying. And I did get eventually a labor job outside of school. You know, very close to campus. But I just didn't see a point to things. And my grades started to drop slowly. And slowly. And, oh yeah, I forgot, I did try going to the gym as well. And I was able to manage to gain some weight. You know, that did help a lot, actually. I started doing that actually my freshman year. I gained a lot of weight actually from going to the gym, and I guess it did help. I'm unsure, honestly. But that was my life. It was going to the gym, working, in school, and just being avoided by everyone else. That was my life. Then came spring. Then came fall. And then halfway through the summer semester, I, well, my grades were just, they were passing but not tolerable. Then came fall. Then came spring. And I didn't manage to get my AA degree, my 2-year degree. And I felt so achieved. But at the same time, nothing else made any progress. Then I realized too that for the past year, actually, I was by myself in my dorm as well, because my dorm mate actually graduated early. So most of the time, I actually had a dorm to myself. I had a lot of debt too. College is very, very expensive. Very, very expensive. All that debt I had, and still have actually. My job did allow me to pay off some of it, but it was just so much. But I had my 2-year degree. Then my first year, my junior year, my first semester, I just stopped going back. I just stopped going back. No one wanted to be around me. I was there by myself. I couldn't make friends. And my grades were just okay at best. Then this time as well, there was a political issues as well. I didn't understand why things were so expensive. Why did so much money go towards things that I didn't want to support? I started to ask myself, what if I was part of this experiment that the ones that are above us just, it is on purpose? As I write this, I realized that what if it was all by design? What if the lie was the thing that we're supposed to chase, that since that hope that they keep feeling us with all the time, just that if we go to high school and we go to college and then we go to a grade, what if that was the lie? As I went back home to my family, they were sad how I dropped out of college. They said I was so close, and that they were confused why I did so. I left my old job too, of course, because it was so far away. But I would spend hours at night just thinking about everything. That maybe that lie that we're supposed to chase, maybe that was the problem. That no one told me the truth at a young age about everything. Do I just exist here to just rot away and spend time on employment that honestly won't bring you much anyways as well compared to my debt? Why it's so hard to get an internship as well? Why they want so much experience when no one wants to give you a chance? Nothing made sense to me. Then my car broke down. It broke down actually, and all the money I had saved up it went away. And I just cried and cried and cried. That everything kept falling apart. If this my whole existence, what it amounted to? I had nothing at all. Nothing. After I took off some time, about a year and a half-ish, I just don't remember anymore. I did go back to school and, well, I got some business degree, and I didn't walk across the stage when I graduated at all. I just got it mailed to me. And eventually I did get another job. And one day at work, my boss came toward me. They asked me this question. He said, "Oliver, are you okay?" At the time I was very, very confused. It was very off-putting that someone finally asked me in my state. I asked, what did they mean? And he noted how my production had fallen at work. And I just lied. I said I was just not feeling well, like I was sick. And at the time I didn't realize he wasn't being empathetic towards me. What they were doing was finding out so they could eventually get rid of me for years to come. Oh, that job. I hate that job so much. That job put me around people who just want to avoid me as if I was some disease. You know? It was very, very hard getting promotions too, despite how hard I worked. Always felt out of place. But I had in so much debt. I was confused that maybe I should go back to school and get my master's degree or just, I don't know. I thought I'd make more money than this as well. It seems that I didn't make as much as I thought I was going to make as well. I mean, I'm okay. I should go back home with my family. So I did that for a little bit. Saved up some money and I did eventually get another car in my own place, closer to my job. And I was on my own. Just me, my studio apartment. Just me by myself. And that was my life. And it's still my life. Eventually, at my job, they let me go due to disagreeing factors. But I was also unemployed for a long time. And I kept trying to apply to more and more jobs and just everything kept falling apart. Like I was chasing some rainbow that never amounted to anything. And I eventually got this job I'm in right now. Some labor job that I hate so much, but it does pay the bills. I make even less now, but they did pay for my therapy. But that was it. That was my life. I was alone. It's in that grand lie that I would get that family, I would get that girl, that dog in the house and everything, and just nothing amounted to anything. I did things the correct way and nothing worked. The lie just kept being built upon itself over and over again. And the more money they took from me, I'd fund the things that the people they take from me by taxes, that I'd fund the things that I could not stand. I didn't understand anything. Eventually I get the night shift at my job, which I'm not gonna lie, I did seem to somewhat prefer that. But I'd ask myself, why'd they lie so much to all of us? Every year became a new layer. Me by myself, and just occasionally I would also read things as well. I learn about those in power and how they manipulate those that are beneath them. That led me to therapy. I've been in therapy on and off for years, but the first therapist I went to was a woman, actually. And she told me how I had a negative view on things, and I just had to try harder and just try to put myself out there. I was prescribed Zoloft, and well, to be honest, I don't think it worked. All the commercials. Why the commercials advertise these things? Why the commercials advertise medicines that are supposed to make us better? Why are there so many side effects of things? Was therapy even worth it? I don't understand. I eventually stopped attending therapy. And, well, I'll just work and work and work and be by myself. Eventually, I did see Sarah again. And, well, but I saw her online, and I didn't notice how she did gain a lot of weight. And she eventually did message me via DMs and said, hey. And I said hey too. And the sad part is, she messaged me because she needed help paying her bills. That was the entire point, was to pay her bills. I remember feeling so happy that she messaged me that day. And it turned into just wanting me to pay her bills she could not afford. That was the amount of things. And some of my peers from high school eventually began to have families and high paying jobs, and it was just me alone in my studio apartment complex by myself. Why does everything amount to money? Why is everything about money? It's like I achieved so much, but nothing also progressed as well. Everything seemed to be the same. What separates these companies from each other? Papa John's versus Pizza Hut versus Domino's, McDonald's and Burger King. Is everything really different at all? And I realized too that even cities seem to be the same. They're built the same. You know? And I did move out of my town, but even that, just what was different? Nothing. Whether I was in my town or another one, I was always alone. One night, while driving, under a bridge, I saw someone that was homeless. And I thought to myself, I wonder if he fought in war. Maybe he was a war veteran. So I stopped my car and I asked him. And he was. Then I realized that most people I always see that are homeless are men. And why are these shelters for women? That makes any sense. Even my cell phone, which I touch right now. Why do I have my phone? What's the point of having my phone? Why do we spend so much money on these things? Do they amount to anything at all? But that was my life. My therapist told me that I should maybe attend group therapy, and I did. And in group therapy, around me was mostly women. Some had single moms, in there, but they say how they suffered through things that were ex-boyfriends and such, and when it amounted to me, and for me to open up in the group therapy, I told them that, well, I just didn't feel like I belonged anywhere, and nothing really worked out. That no one wanted to be around me, and that if you're a good, caring person, good, caring male, a good, caring guy, good, caring men only exist to feel the system would hate them. And they were confused by that. I asked them, if good men are valued here, then why do you not want them? And they got quiet in group therapy. They said it's not true how it's the men. Then I asked them who built this society around them. Why do we build these things to begin with? Why do men work these labor jobs like I do? Why do we invent things, make these comforts? And why are those men always the one that they always seem to just ignore? And they got quiet. Sad truth is, if you're not a gold-collar man, some regional director, movie star, athlete, especially if you work some blue-collar, purple-collar job, gray-collar job, they see you as not a person, but a machine to fund their comforts, even if you make more than them. Because unfortunately, even they're victims of the entire culture which hates them as well, but they just get more of a benefit from it than we do. Didn't understand the commercialization, the materialism. Everyone here just wants nonsense. Where's the humility at? Why is this our existence? What was the point to all of it? So crazy to think about. We reflect on everything on how we literally just exist to fund some lie around us. If some famous celebrity asshole died tomorrow, the world would stop and just honor their achievements, how a great person they were. But if I died in the street tomorrow, no one would care. When I literally fund the culture around me and provide for them, I understand. Therapy. It's been 1 year of therapy now. I don't know what to do. I'm just here by myself. I have no children. I'm now in my late 20s. I live by myself. I've always been ignored. Women do not want me. Nobody wants me. I have no friends. I'm just by myself to fund and work for this culture which is against me. If I ruled the world, would I allow this to happen? Would I let the void into some materialistic plastic culture that's designed to make sure that people just like me never learn the truth about their existence? That from childhood they always lied to us. But that's my life. As I do write this down in this book here, I wonder, why do they always tell us things will get better? Do they get better to begin with? Or is better just some lie? What is better? Is better in debt where we have our degrees with jobs we don't really need them for as well? I don't understand. But as life reflects upon itself, what is the point of everything as it exists in itself? I remember one time in front of my complex, I saw a couple actually. They appeared to be in their 30s. And the police came because of domestic abuse. I noticed something. I noticed that the way that they treated the guy versus the girl was always as if he had to prove that he was not guilty of something, despite calling the police on his partner. It was very off-putting to see that in real time. That's crazy to think about. Maybe he was at fault. Maybe they both were at fault. What is good and what is evil? What does it even mean? Crazy to think about. Also, I do sometimes occasionally drive by my old job, and I did realize that it did close down eventually. It closed down because, well, regulations and higher taxes is what they said it was. And they couldn't compete with the marketplace that was ever so changing with their international competitors. Why am I still here? Sometimes I spend hours on my computer by myself and I reflect on the things that I've already done in my life and see how they evolved and changed. What stayed the same? And then I realized something. I realized that those who are also similar civilizations as I am have similar issues. Maybe we just exist to, well, cease to exist. Because the lie is how those make money above us. And the truth, well, truths are very, very expensive. And because truths are expensive, they're never taught to us.